Hello, sweet souls. It is DTO in the flow, wanting you to know that I have an incredible guest on today's 5Q interview, 555. And we are going to go through 5 questions, just so you're aware. We're going to talk about the origin story, talk about the path of the musician, the creative process, the response from the community, as well as any closing words, and for everyone to know how to reach out to Harmony today. But before we bring on our guest, I want to make sure that everyone is present to who I am in the world. I am DTO. I'm an award-winning producer. I am going to be on the road for September, mainly on the New England East Coast area, and then I'll be in the St. Petersburg area playing my music for yoga, ecstatic dances, have some incredible opportunities to then continue my tour in October and then end on the West Coast in November. And who am I? I'm also the visionary of Embody Costa Rica. What is Embody? It's a wellness and retreat center in the Central Valley of Costa Rica, where we offer life-enhancing experiences, transformative tours, yoga and meditation. And if anyone is interested in hosting their own retreat, you can book a call with Himalaya. And we do have 2 glorious signature retreats. We have one December 6th through the 12th, and then there's a women's retreat February. This upcoming 2026 will be February 19th through the 24th. And actually, with Dr. Geeta Maker-Clark, who's based out of Chicago, and our guest Harmony is based out of the surrounding area of Chicago in Naperville. So let's bring on our guest today, Harmony. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And when we were in the green room, you were sharing that you've met Himalaya before when she was in LA. And of course, this is the flyer when we used to do our Bhakti Fest festival ignitions. So much fun. And you and I, of course, knowing of each other based on the common theme of music. And most of you out there that know who I am as a musician, artist, has listened to my music. And I have a friend, local friend here in Costa Rica, Ana, who's watching. Hola, Ana, pura vida, ¿cómo le va? Solo bueno por acá. Love my ticos.
Welcome, Anna.
Yeah, I love that we're streaming live, which is important for me to share with everyone because at any time you could comment, ask a question. Sharing is caring. And you know this, especially if you work with me in the capacity of my marketing agency. I say this all the time. Those algorithms are hungry, hungry, hungry. If you're a child of the 80s like me, you remember the hungry, hungry hippos. Algorithms just want to come. So even if you just drop an emoji, it does support just having the algorithm share, hey, there's some amazing people having great conversations that you would want to listen to. And naturally, you can find me on all platforms, DTO Music, Embody Costa Rica. And we're going to ask you today, we have 5 questions. So the first one is about your origin story. And what I like to set this up as is every superhero has an origin story, how you got to where you're at. We all got to be born somewhere on Mother Earth. And then once we have this journey, all these phases, all these chapters, all these decades of living, we at first observe and absorb. And so what was that for you, specifically with music, of how it all began when you fell in love with music?
So for me, this process of music, I guess it began when I was a small young girl. I would sing. I was in choirs. I belonged to the choir. I played the flute, the piccolo, the piano. And then I was in Los Angeles in my 30s, and I had a near-death experience. And that process basically gave me the power, the superpowers to disseminate my whole entire life, uproot it, and move to Southeast Asia, where I lived between Bali and India for 9 years. During this time, I had a lot of transformations. And so one of those processes was I would live in India with monks for several months at a time, really developing my spiritual gifts. And during this process, I was introduced to mantra. And so, or mantra. And so when I learned about mantra, I was singing and I never heard it before, but I knew every single word, and it really felt like a purification for me. And so I started singing, and with supporting vocalists, I sang with Dave Stringer, I sang with Sheila Bringy. I sing with other musicians as well in the mantra world. And I needed to express myself and have my voice be heard. So I began the process of recording, producing, and coming to this place within my own music. I'm so grateful to be here. It is every time I sing, it's like a deep purification for my soul, for my heart, and it really does help the collective field enhance its energy.
Absolutely. And I love all the colleagues that you mentioned. They're sort of, yeah, all the bhakti energy and the love. And for those of you that don't understand what the word bhakti is, it's devotion. And it's this incredible community of artists and singers. And we all have this place in our soul and our heart to sing mantras. And mantras are ways that you are sharing from ancient India, all these words that are like Sanskrit. I guess you could call them spells, is like the best translation I've heard from people that study what the word mantra means. But it's a way to get into like a zone, into a place of just that peace within, like Om Shanti, Shanti, and Shanti is for peace. And we need and desire, I feel as a species, peaceful experiences more than ever. So I love your origin story because, you know, I had a near-death accident once as well that like just turned on the lights. For me, it was like, am I going to do this thing or not? And, you know, I was procrastinating, I was delaying. And then through that experience, it woke me up to be like, okay, time's ticking. Like, am I going to live this life and this journey? So I love your origin story because it really is like soul led. I hear that, and from a heart space and finding people. So the path of a musician, I put up a lovely photo of you. So I'm sure it's the deepest spiritual journey you'll ever be on, is to learn how to open your voice up, because a lot of us for years haven't always been self-expressed. So I'd love to hear that. And I do want to put a photo up so you can talk about this lovely.
Yeah, that's my current producer, Hans Christian. He's a Grammy nominated musician. And it's just been such a pleasure to work with him. So my first album I had was in 2016. It's called Blessings of Your Grace. I recorded this album with Manish Damore. And then I did 2 world tours with mantra and spiritual studies throughout the United States and Europe. And that path was really very arduous and very tiresome for me. So I decided to root down. And then when I moved back to the United States, I landed in Naperville, where I ended up finding my beloved husband, happily married, and I found Hans Christian at a Krishna Das concert. And I said, we need to work together. And so we recorded our first album together. And that is it's such a beautiful, beautiful album. It's called Heart of Creation. And then I had an opportunity to have a private license with the Harmonic Egg business. That is my wellness center. I work with technology called the Harmonic Egg. And I produced 2 40-minute pieces privately licensed for all the harmonic eggs around the world. They're called Peace, Protection, and Freedom and Depth of Mind. And also recently, I just recorded 3 new pieces of music, which I'm really, really excited about. They're all based on Vedic astrology. So they will be ready to start releasing in the fall. So I will release one, and then I'm also having one of the monks that I lived with in India. He'll be helping me on the video graphics for the release on YouTube and other social media networks as well. So I'm very excited. There's so much to come. You know, with this process of recording, it's something that just needs to come out of me. And you know, when we're opening our voices through music, it's something that really it's more than just singing, because what happens with the voice, and when we open up our voice, is that we recognize how we've been suppressed in our lives and how we haven't necessarily spoken our truth about who we are or how our feelings are. And so when that happens through that music, we start to express something magical births inside of not only the throat chakra, but all of the chakras. So we're familiar with the 7 chakras, but there's so much more. There's chakras above our aura and down below our feet as well. So when we're really connecting in through that space through mantra, which is when I was studying in Delhi, India, with my teacher, Sudhanshu Sharma, I recognized and I started to see music as only numerology. I saw numbers. I saw sacred geometric shapes when I was singing the raga form based mantra, which I really prefer to sing. And so it's really such an expansive journey with music. And I invite you all to explore, even if it's something like Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which is Om peace, 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 that does also create something vibrationally through the numerology, but it also helps you to really connect in. And every time we also chant with the Sanskrit or Gurubani or any sort of sacred chants, what it does, it actually starts to decalcify your pineal gland and open up your sense of intuition and brings a lot of peace and joy into your life.
Peace and joy. I'm a huge fan. And I'm so grateful that you've been to India and you've been able to receive and absorb all these teachers from these incredible souls that are, always a student and the teacher within. And so travel is so important and so powerful. And I love that that's a part of who you are, is witnessing other cultures. And, we're born somewhere. Here we are. And to be able to have that freedom of saying, okay, I get to fly, I get to glide, I get to, if you're in India, you get to jump on a train with lots of people. I love that.
I always said, if you're ever lonely, go to India, because you'll never be alone.
That's true, right? Well, I want to share some of your magic. Here it is. So lovely.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So beautiful. The remover of obstacles.
So wonderful. Om Ganesha.
Yeah.
So the creative flow, a lot of times people will listen, as we did this beautiful example of the energy and the frequencies and the vibrations, and you playing and singing and guiding at the same time. So what does it take for you to get into that flow state? What is your creative process?
So one thing that I recognized throughout my awakening process is that I can never take it for granted, and that it's always a constant process. There's been certain times throughout my journey where I did a 40-day fast where I fasted on only liquids for 40 days to really establish that connection to the Divine Mother.
Yeah.
So I also like to do my yoga practice. That's a daily ritual that is like a non-negotiable. I need to do my yoga practice. I walk in nature. I also like gardening. I have to get my hands in the earth.
You can just buzz and find other people to
There's a little feedback, so sorry about that. And then my diet as well is really important for to be able to keep the frequency within me. So definitely the diet.
We're all connected. We're all soul family, but at the same time,
I don't think he recognized. Maybe he's not on mute. So, anyways, so those daily rituals are very, very important.
We can time it perfectly for when I get back to Costa Rica. So appreciate you, sister. Ciao. Okay, so let me cue up.
You were not on mute during that, so there was a little overlap of voices there. So sorry.
Oh, perdón. Todo bien. Okay.
It's
Yes, yes. A little. Okay, so let's go into another clip of you sharing your magic. Here we go. Yes. Wow, harmonica as well. So good.
Yeah. So that track is on my first album, Blessings of Your Grace.
Mhm.
This rendition is different than how it's played on my album. I actually prefer the rendition now with the harmonica. I brought that in. So I have that actually right here. It was my
I love it.
grandfather's harmonica.
Wow.
So it brings
So
in
good.
the grandfather vibes.
Yeah, it definitely has. What I love too is it has, yeah, that era, right? Like with Bob Dylan and the harmonica, such a key role. Yeah, let's jump back into question number 3 again. So creative process, feel free to share what that is for you.
So for me, the creative process is something that I don't take for granted. I really do need to keep my energy and my vibration at a certain level, so I can channel the energy and channel the vibrations through me. Because when I sing, if I enter into that space, the whole room enters into that space. So it's my yoga practice, it's daily walks in nature, it's gardening, it's my diet. I definitely stay away from alcohol. I really work with the embodiment and try on a constant basis to raise my vibration. I've done many different types of austerities. I've fasted. The longest fast I've ever done was 40 days. That was in Bali. And that was really magical because by the end of it, I didn't feel like I needed to eat anything ever again. But I do like the ritual of eating. So I definitely eat. I enjoy food a lot. But sun, being alone, listening to myself, reading, being at peace. It's very important just from an energetic point of view. If I'm really standing in this space as a space holder, I need to be that on all levels. There is no hypocrisy that can fall into that place of the vibration when I'm sharing the mantra.
Yeah, and that's that. How we do one thing, we do everything. So when we live through integrity, we live through that pure soul within us. Then when you integrate those teachings, those lessons, the music, it feels like you can get into this flow state. So I love how your creative process is really walking the path. And then you're an open channel. Then it's like, here it comes, grab your grandpa's harmonica, play the harmonium, be harmony. I think there's a lot of themes here of harmonious living. So I love that piece.
I know, it's harmony that plays a harmonica, that plays a harmonium, and owns a harmonic egg. Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, so good. And perfect segue. So let's talk about Harmonic Egg Naperville. And I really am grateful because, you get to share a part of these healing practices. And this is a lovely photo of you on your website. And I'm sure when people go to your place. I want to share some of these beautiful healing experiences that people can have. And here is your logo and your brand and your website. So it's alternative therapy. Feel free to share what Harmonic Egg Naperville is.
So during the pandemic, my husband, he's a researcher, and he found this thing called the harmonic egg on Gaia with Regina Meredith. And so we tried it out. And when I was living in Bali, I was having my morning meditation, and Spirit came to me and said, it's time for you to go home and serve your people. So I've learned to listen throughout the years, because if I don't, I call it the big cosmic spanking, and it's not pleasant. So I immediately, after my meditation, called my landlord, sold all my furniture, and within a couple of weeks, I was on a plane to Los Angeles. So I have all these healing qualities that I've picked up throughout the years between, living between India and Bali. And I also studied shamanism. I studied plant medicines. I've studied Tantra. I've studied many different aspects of healing. And most importantly, living with my monks in India, I got to really study my own unconscious patterns and understanding from a spiritual point of view that everything, for the most part, not everything, for the general majority of things that are happening in our lives are psychosomatic from the unconscious mind. And so when you come into Harmonic Egg, we'll have a consultation where we work on looking at the different programs that are playing within your subconscious thought patterns, and then try to reprogram the thought patterns into a higher vibrational thought. And that changes the vibration of your whole entire body and of your frequency. And so then that initiates and basically helps the autonomic nervous system come into balance. And when the autonomic nervous system comes into balance, your body's natural intelligence can do its job. So that's the goal with the Harmonic Egg. And then we just recently added, we had our third expansion within 4 years. We recently added the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This modality, this device is, wow, it's a beautiful addition. That's it right there. And I'm so excited for what's to come with this and the expansions beyond this, because the vision I have that I would like to birth into this world is really large, and it's going to help a lot of people through music, through mantra, through the Harmonic Egg Center, through being in community and understanding that being in community right now is a rarity, and we need to be in community. We need to be that space with love and hugging and human touch and human contact and connecting through the heart. That's all the process of healing. So the mantra, the kirtans, or the mantra singing that I do is also, it's really this also this space where we are doing healing on the deepest level.
I want to share a little clip as well.
This is the amazing Harmonic Egg. It is a 50-minute session, 40 minutes of light and sound, 10 minutes of silence. You get to lay down in a zero gravity chair being enveloped with sound, light, frequency, and vibration.
Yes, count me in.
I would say that it's like sound healing on steroids.
Yeah, I love it. So good. So you can answer with both, which is, what has the response been in the community, not only to what you and your husband have been building in the community for self-healing practices and care and connection, and then as well, you can feel free to share about how your music has made an impact.
So the community response. Okay, so when I first moved back to the United States, I was suffering because I didn't know how to connect. Like, I felt like I was this screen is so weird. Let me just adjust here. Okay, so
you are the light.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. I know. I was like, are you ascending? What's happening? I was like, here we go. It was beautiful. Reminds me of the artwork for this song of mine, Here I Am. I was like,
oh,
let there be light.
I love that.
Yes, to be present. So you returned from the States, and as you said, you're just reintegrating and being
It
a
took
part
me
of.
a long time to reintegrate, but in Bali, I had a huge community of people. Like my kirtans in Bali, like I would hold a kirtan, 200-300 people would come. And then I came back to the United States, and all of a sudden I'm this like nobody, right? Nobody knows.
Yeah, you're pounding the pavement. Where are my people at?
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's there's everything's happening all at once, right? So
it is. And I reached out to some of the community people here, and it brought me to this place of like really deep suffering. And I was meditating one day, and the meditation said, Harmony, what are you trying to do? You're trying to fit in. You cannot fit in. You are the community. Build your own. And so that was the whole thing, that I just completely disconnected from the process of trying to fit into a community to building my own. And in the last 4 years, I have built the most beautiful, beautiful, high vibrational community. And it just keeps getting better every single day. I just love it. It definitely is a lot of work, and it's staying patient and just keep moving forward in every step of the way. And it's so great that my husband, he's my biggest cheerleader. He's my best friend. I'm so grateful that I have him in my life. He really empowers me to always be the best version of myself and to really be authentic. And that's one of the main things that people really love about me, because when we're at the kirtans, like a lot of times it's, it could be, we can have this like stigma that it has to be something like super serious. But when in fact, it's really not. And so I like to drop my F-bombs. I love the F-bomb. It really does work very well. I love that the Osho video where he talks in different vernaculars regarding the word fuck. And so it's so great. And just to be authentic throughout the process, because it really invites everybody to understand that we can drop down the hats and we can really be our true authentic self. And that is the best version of ourselves. So my community, what I do is I really, really, my main teaching is empowerment. It's about being in your power, staying in your power, understanding who you are, trusting who you are. It's also in that process of helping people to establish and wake up their gifts. So whether it's clairaudient, clairvoyance, clairsentient, claircognizance. So whatever those gifts are, is being able to help people open the gifts within themselves, because we all have them and nobody is excluded. It's just that they're asleep. And so the fastest way that I found to awaken these gifts is through singing mantra, because these vibrational codes, they are powerful. They are powerful. And they're just not, it's not me singing very pretty. There's something much bigger than I can't even really explain it, that's happening. But we need to stand in this place now, as our world is going through this major, major shift into this place, is remember who you are. Is to always remember who you are. And that practice is always coming back. So that's the community response, is always looking at how can we become a more powerful community? How can we love more? How can we not just loving others, is mostly loving ourselves? How can we love ourselves to the biggest capacity on all levels? So that's my message in my community. I stand behind it, and anytime somebody is not in their power, I will call it out. I will call it out, because that's the only way we'll learn and grow. But it's called out with a lot of love and a lot of respect, and then just guidance towards the right direction.
Yes. I love the whole, where are my people? And you're like, well, you get to generate and be that and create that and magnetize. And yeah, it's so lovely when that alignment happens.
It is really about magnetism, right? You know that through your music too, right? So it's like you put this music on, and then all of a sudden it's just, you become a magnet for this energy.
Yeah, and this, like when we're in that juicy, life-enhancing, heart-forward connectedness, not only to ourselves, because obviously it's an inside job, and to go within is important. And then when we see the results, like we open our eyes and we get to witness, like, wow, we're on this spaceship together, this mothership called Earth. And we also get to be in integrity and how to move through the world. And I love that leadership that you have, because some people have a weird relationship with the word discipline. And to me, discipline equals results, which equals life enhancing, healthy practices. And if I didn't have the discipline when I was a little kid to do my scales on my piano, then I wouldn't become proficient in what I am passionate about, which is music. And so that sounds really beautiful. What you're sharing is like, hey, you're not in integrity. Hey, get back on the track. Here's the path that you said you're committed to. Yeah. And that's what I feel is powerful. I like to say the term accountability buddy.
Yes, I love that. I'm going to coin that. Thank you so much.
There you go. It's all yours. You can copy and paste it.
There you go.
But it's like that community-centered commitment to your own creativity and to really be a stand for what it is. Because you know this, and I know you've gone deep into your practices of consciousness where we remember, we forget. We remember, oh, we forgot again. So when we have someone else, it's like a little shock to the body, like, hey, what you doing? When's that song coming out? You told me you're going to launch a song in November. You told me you're going to launch this incredible, it's like, oh, so making it happen, I feel is really powerful. And I love that you've traveled. I feel like I always connect with a lot of people that are able to step outside of their comfort zone and just know there's other cultures, there's other way of seeing the world, there's some perspectives, and it really can allow for there to be shifts. And as you said, this is one of the most transformative times we're living in, and to be flexible and to be open and to know that we're gonna get knocked on our butts and we're gonna have to say what the fuck. And then we're like, okay, we just had a breakdown, now we have a breakthrough. Or where does the phoenix rise from? The phoenix doesn't come down from the heavens. The phoenix comes from the death and the ashes and the fear and the dark energy. And it's like, here comes, it's like the lotus flower, which of course is one of the most representative parts of our metaphors of life. It comes from the mud, it comes from the dirt, and then from here this blossoms into this glorious being and this living organism, which we are. So
yes,
and you get to integrate. What I love is you and I are both from North America, and when we've traveled and we've been in these places, we get to sometimes have reverse culture shock. We're like, whoa, what's happening here?
Well, that's what happened to me when I moved back after 9 years. I felt like a foreigner in my own country. It was like when I spoke to somebody, it was just like in one ear and then straight out the other. I was like, am I speaking another language? Like, what's going on here? It was disturbing. I actually hired a coach at that time because I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's like
a reintegration process. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, we'll go back to that word we really landed on is magnetism, right? Like we get to find that interplay, the alignment of people that are like, yes, this is the path that I get to be on. And this is what I want to respond to, right? Just like the question above, it's not a reaction necessarily. It's like, how do I respond to where my gifts are and other people that would want to share theirs and be a part of it? So I honor that part of your journey so much because it's so powerful.
Thank you so much.
And a little side story around Naperville is I'm from, the heartland. I'm from Iowa. And so when I grew up, I spent my Thanksgiving times, lots of family time going to my aunt and uncles and my cousin's house in Naperville. So when you and I connected and you shared your website up above here, it's like Naperville. I know Naperville, and I know it from the 1980s.
Such a small world.
It's a small world. Yeah. I was watching the Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle in 1985. And it was a smaller town, Naperville. And then, of course, like a lot of suburbs of major cities, it's expanded quite a lot. So it's fantastic that, there's a offering that you had that you gain through going to India and going to Indonesia. And then when you come to other parts of the world, I love how you can, shine your light and show up. And so this is the moment where you're going to have your closing words. So feel free to share any wisdom, any requests, and mic is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so grateful to be able to share my words and just share my energy with you and the whole entire community. So what I would like to say is, throughout my journey, I had my near-death experience, and then I had another near-death experience after I had a company in Indonesia and I got scammed, which really broke me and brought me down to my knees. And the thing that always kept me going, that consistent thing that kept going, was the practice. And we have to remember that, there's certain times in our lives where we're like, oh my God, like I so love doing this, right? And then we stop. And that's the thing, when it's like, that's a spiritual practice, is like just being able to recognize that and get back on track. Keep getting back on track. Like, don't stop. Don't allow that space. Like, the last month, I couldn't get to my yoga practices regularly, and my whole body started hurting. And then I started doing my yoga practice again, and now I'm like back to feeling very golden. So we have to just keep that process going. And if you're out there and you're suffering, you don't need to be alone. There's so many people out there that can really hold that space for you, and know who those space holders are for you in your community, because it's really important. There's a lot of people out there that really want to do good, and their heart is intending to do good. But when other people's programs haven't been eradicated from their subconscious thought patterns, it's very difficult for you to get non-biased feedback. And so knowing who are those healers for you in your community that you can really rely on when you need that support, or if you're feeling stuck in the mud, or if you're feeling lonely. There's so many different, people that are out there, different community events like DTO traveling and sharing his light and his music. All these places are really this epicenter for really big light. So follow the light. It's going into that space, as we have to. Right now is so dire with so much separation and strife on this planet. And this is in perfect alignment. It's meant to be, and we're not going to condone it. It's beautiful in its own right, but we have to find that space where we have the discipline to walk through. And I know that we kind of touched on the discipline process. There's so many different forms of discipline, and it doesn't have to be as dogmatic or very strict like mine. You could find your own process that works for you, and just start there. Like, be gentle and start wherever you're at. And I do online coaching, so if you need any sort of support, I am there for you. I can set that up with you, and I will definitely help you and guide you toward your ultimate goal. So it's, my work that I do in the world, of course, is mantra. It's singing, it's sharing the recordings and getting the music out there. But it's also to really hold the space for humanity to be able to grow and transform and become the versions that we're meant to be. My teacher in India said that by 2035, we'll be living in a place called heaven on earth. And I'm praying that it's going to happen. Okay, but it's one person at a time, right? So what that means, that heaven on earth, is not that we're going to be sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya. What it means is that we're going to be really connected to that inner dweller within ourselves, and however that is, and however you get there, and whatever that is personalized and individual to you. And that is the path that you need to follow the breadcrumbs toward that ultimate peace, because that is your best friend. That is the person that will never betray you. That is that person, that thing that will always be there for you. So establish that. However it takes, through dance, through, it doesn't matter. It's the path is to get there. And I am one of those space holders. So if you feel inclined and you need support, I'm 100% here to be of service for you.
So lovely. I appreciate you generously sharing your light in the world and becoming the version that is fully designed to unfold and to awaken, remember, and to share all of this wisdom that you are gathering in your journey. And of course, I love the healing opportunities at your location. So beautiful. Yeah, life hacks. That's what we call them, everyone. Yeah, we forget. I mean, I'm the guy that actually has an app that reminds me to drink water. because if I get into a flow state, or even lunch, it's in my calendar every day. It's like, eat lunch, because I'm in this creative zone and there's so much happening. And at any time, of course, we can go down any diversion. And I love what you're honoring and sharing with your communities. Like, there's a path and this is a possibility. And for you to really hold that space for people and to allow for them to voice and share what's alive for them. And then for you to be that example along with your husband and all these incredible musicians and colleagues globally that are having the message of peace and connection. So thank you so much for your presence today. And yeah, what a joy. And I can't wait to listen to your upcoming music and anything else that you have. And as I mentioned, everyone, go and check out Harmonic Egg. Here's the website.
Yes.
And this is where people will find you. All right. Thank you so much, Harmony. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.